What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the $0 to $1 million in revenue with our brand challenge or series. I've been documenting everything on our YouTube channel publicly. And so quick update on the day. We're at about 1.4 thousand in revenue with about 1.1 thousand of that being profit. Most of that revenue is attributed from our subscriptions, which are actually on their second month of their cycle. So they must have liked it. They got it again the second month. Good to go. So that's going to probably be some solid profit for us. Overall, we're at about $371,000 in revenue. I'll put that there as well. So that puts us about 37% of our goal. But today's video is not about the revenue. It's not about today's rebills. Earlier, I did run through our sprint sheet. Nothing stood out to me. Our sprint sheet's something I've been talking about. It's just our daily tasks. Ran through that. Everything looked good. We're good to go. So basically, today I was thinking I actually had this on my mind. So I wanted to talk about the decisions that we had to make to get to this point where we're at 371,000 in revenue overall, and some of the bigger risks that we had to take to get here. So first off, we've never done CBD before. This is our first time ever doing CBD, right? This is not something we have experience with. Our team does, thankfully, but we do not. And within our first month of launching this business, we cut off a significant income stream for ourselves. That income stream was our other company called Rebilify, and Rebilify basically was how I could afford my apartment. It was how I could afford to get all the cool food that I have and how I could afford to have my life, right? It's how we paid for everything. Levi, no. And with that said, you might call me crazy, but within the first month, we cut Rebilify down completely because we wanted to go all in on CBD. We also invested a significant amount of money into CBD, never having done it before, and possibly it was money that we would be called crazy for investing into this, but so far it's panned out, right? The logic behind the decision of cutting off Rebilify and investing that amount of money is because my co-founder and I are very confident in our decisions. We're very confident in our ability to make things work, and we know for a fact that we're not going to give up even if it's failing, right? And we haven't made a ton of money yet, about 43,000 in profit on the revenue that I just talked about, which isn't significant in comparison to what Rebilify was bringing in. So yeah, we're the type of people that know like what we want to do and then we go after it. So this is kind of leading me into my thought. So essentially something I've been thinking about is a lot of people in their businesses are afraid to make big decisions because they're not confident in their ability to make those big decisions happen. For us, I'd say our mindset were a bit different because we've been in the industry for years and years and years. We've failed countless times. We understand how the game works. And so possibly it's that we're not afraid of failure. We're not afraid to have to dig through the trenches a bit. And we're not really afraid of risk either. But a lot of people that I see that are beginners or even in the game for a while are afraid to make big decisions without the approval of somebody else or without having those decisions already be proven for them. I think that kind of all boils down to their confidence, and confidence is essentially the root of success in everything in your life, right? If you're not confident, you're not going to be able to make good friends. If you're not confident, you're not going to be able to make strong decisions in your business. If you're not confident, you're probably not going to take the steps to start a business in the first place because you're afraid of the imminent failure that you might be facing. And for us, I think that confidence has been a large reason for our success because anytime if you hopped on a call with me or you hopped on a call with Hunter and you said, yo, what are you guys going to do? This is not working. This isn't working. This isn't working. We'd be like, give me like 10 minutes, we'll find a solution, So for us, we're always looking for the solution. We're very confident in the fact that we'll be able to find a solution to whatever problem it is that we're facing. And in turn, that's allowed us to make some really, really big decisions in our business. I think a lot of people go wrong when they question themselves. They second guess, am I capable of doing this? Or is this really a good decision? Even though deep down they think that they can do it. There's a reason you think you can do something that you want to do, right? There's a reason that idea popped into your head in the first place. And for us, it's like there's a reason that we started CBD in the first place. It wasn't because we thought it would fail. So even if things get hard, you can't really question yourself. And that's super, super important to understand. All right, my camera cut out, but I was basically saying that if things get hard, you can't question yourself because they're getting hard. You can't second guess yourself. If anything, when things are getting tough, that's when you need to double down and back your decision with facts, right? You started this company for what reason, right? Back that up. Make the decisions to back up your decision in the first place, which started this company. I think that for us, obviously our confidence is built up over time. It wasn't something when we started immediately and was confident. When I started, in fact, I was very unconfident in many things in my life, including my decisions in my businesses, right? I had no experience, just as many of you have no experience. And in turn, that allowed me not to make great decisions in my business. Instead, it made me make the decisions in my business only regarding like results or what, Sean said from Instagram I should do, rather than trying things out on my own, which is essentially the most important part. That's how you can find your true voice, your authenticity. That's your personality, right? If you listen to let's just say you listen word for word for what I say on Instagram on my ad strategy, which I'm not really putting out there, but let's just say my ad strategy might not be the best ad strategy, but you're only listening to mine. You're not trying to figure out it on your own because you're not confident enough to make those decisions to try to test your own ad strategies, right? It's the same thing with your business. If your mom says, well, Connor, it's not a great decision to start a business, you're going to question yourself because you're not confident, and maybe you won't start that business that you really wanted to start, right? And that's like so terrible. Confidence is essentially how you're going to become successful in everything that you do in life, because that's how you find your voice. That's what I just said 2 seconds ago, but that means so many different things, right? It's how you can become your true person. It's how you can actually vibrate at like who you are, your frequency, like who are you really? And you know who you are, but maybe sometimes you're afraid to be like that in front of certain people, or you're afraid to be yourself because you're afraid of being judged, or you're afraid to post this video because you're afraid of what the comments might say. You're afraid to start that business because you're afraid of what your friends might say if you fail, or you're afraid of what your family might think if you fail. You're afraid to make that big decision and cut off your income because you're afraid of what the consequence of that might be. And it all boils down to one thing: your confidence in yourself, right? So I'll tell you a couple stories of why that's a bad thing that you don't have confidence, and why it was a bad thing for me. Basically, when I started, I was doing e-com for probably the first 6 months of my online business career, right? And I had some success pretty quickly. Actually, I was very lucky. And so lucky, in fact, where I met my first business partner playing a random game of Fortnite. So I had no money, and this guy owned an Instagram page, and we just combined and used his page for ads, and boom. That's how lucky I was when I started. And I get that not everybody's that lucky, but for me, that was like a sign from the universe. Like, dude, if you don't do this, well, you're stupid. So I took that and ran with it, right? And we made some good money. But then as soon as that money stopped rolling in, this is where the lack of confidence came in, because I didn't really have to make too many decisions going up into that point. All I had to do was say, okay, yeah, let's put this product on your Instagram and make money, right? But when that stopped working, what did I do? Did I look for a solution in e-com? No. What I did was I decided, I saw somebody on Instagram saying starting an agency is the best way to make money online. And then I went ahead and I started an agency and made no money with that. So then what did I do? I was like, I saw somebody saying, coaching people on ads are the best way to make money online. So then I started a coaching business and made a little bit of money, but not enough, right? Then what did I do? I went back to e-com, and I saw people talking about all these ad strategies. So I was using all these ad strategies, and not all of them were working. And I wasn't innovating at all. I was just doing what regurgitated information was on there. And in order to innovate and to make good decisions, build a good business, you have to have confidence in yourself. And for me, I did not. I didn't have confidence in my ability to do that, because I had just started. I was like, dude, I didn't ever run an ad before. I don't know how to do this. All I did was post on Instagram. And that's exactly where my business started to decline. And that's something also called shiny object syndrome, where I was chasing one thing, another thing, but that also stems from what? Lack of confidence in your own decision making, in your own ability to build a business that you think will work. I actually ordered a bunch of inventory of a charger bracelet to my house, a couple $1,000s worth, which was a lot at the time, and it still is a lot of money. But I ordered a ton of inventory to my house, fully branded, packaged and everything. And what did I do? Nothing, absolutely nothing, because my first ads didn't bring any return. So rather than try to work and try to figure it out, you might be like, well, dude, that's stupid. Why did you stop? Because I wasn't confident in the decisions that I had to make in order to build that brand to become something successful. And there was another brand that did do it. It was called Revive Chargers, right? And they did exactly what my vision was, just better than me. So somebody figured it out, but not me, because my decision making wasn't good enough and my confidence in myself wasn't good enough to make the decisions necessary to build a successful company. So over the years, having failed all these numerous times and having just tried everybody else's shit, I was just like, dude, this is so tiring. I can't keep up with all these other people's like opinions. I can't keep up with all these strategies. I can't keep up with what person A, B, and C thinks about this business. I only could keep up with what my thoughts were, what I believed would work. And the only way to figure out if what you believe will work is to try it. So that's exactly what I began to do. And, once I did do that, I built a relatively successful company, and we did about $3 million in the year, which is where another failure of mine happened, where we had to buy out this partner. I went broke again. And, that's when my co-founder and I started to work together, Hunter, right? So Hunter and I, again, we were just like in the trenches, because that seems to be kind of what we had to deal with for years and years and years. And even now, dude, we're not making any money right now, just an FYI, but we were in the trenches for years and years and years, and we hadn't really figured it out. But this is kind of where the tipping point was. Instead of trying to chase what everybody else's opinion was, especially after having built that company to $3 million in revenue, well, I was beginning to build my confidence in my own decisions, right? I started to do what I believed would work because it worked for my last company. That's how I built that company successfully. So we began to do that. We didn't question ourselves, and we ended up building a company that did a couple $1 million in just a few months and kind of put us back on track, which at that point we had figured out a couple other things. We learned a lot about the industry, and that's when we started Rebuilify. Rebuilify did extremely well, actually. We serviced a bunch of clients, helped them with their subscription businesses, and all because we cared about only what we thought. That might sound stupid and selfish, but we weren't saying we're not learning at all, but we cared only about what brought results and our own hypothesis on what would bring results, because we would decide, okay, if we saw this work before and it was our strategy, I'm not going to go ahead. Maybe I'll do a quick test with somebody else's, but mine works. So the proof is in the pudding already. My decision worked. So we kept doing that over and over again across a bunch of clients, helped them out and helped them build successful businesses. And then that led us up to where we are now, right? Where now we started a CBD company, and now we closed down Rebuilify, which was a massive source of income for us. And these are all massive decisions that we had to start to make. And true success, true traction in anything that we were doing all started after we really stopped caring about what everybody else thought and only cared about what we thought and what our thoughts were and our ideas were, and went after them. If you're afraid to go after your ideas because other people, well, your ideas will never become successful. They're never going to become anything that you want them to become. And so the moral of the story is you need to become confident in your own decisions. You need to stop guessing. You need to stop worrying about what guru A, B, and C says, and start to think about why you want to make decisions that you want to make, right? And try them. Because there's a lot of bright people out there, and I'm not disrespecting any gurus, but they've basically tried their own strategies to get to the results that they tried, right? So, for example, there's a bunch of e-com guys out there that do TikTok ads really well. They don't all use the same strategy. They all use their own new innovative strategy that they created themselves, which works best for them, but it might not work best for the other guy, right? You can emulate their strategies, but don't be afraid to try new things with your own businesses, with your own ad strategies, or try new products that, never existed, or don't be afraid to try the saturated product that everybody tells you not to try, because maybe you have an angle in there, or you have, like I said, the little hidden sauce on your burger that might make that product work 10 times better than your competitors. So decision-making, confidence, and in fact, confidence even translates to finding your edge, which I talked about in yesterday's episode. You're not going to find an edge if you're not confident in your research. You're not going to find an edge if you're not confident enough to try the product. You're not going to find your edge if you're not confident to throw yourself into what's essentially like a massive competition amongst a bunch of businesses. It's just not going to happen. So, yeah, boys, be confident in your decisions. Like, stop second guessing yourself, because you're more than capable of making your own decisions. Everybody's relatively intelligent. Like, there's nobody that is going to be like, okay, look at just a guru. I don't know who you look up to, but like, just think of a guru you look up to, right? Are they that much smarter than you? Reality is they're probably not. They just weren't afraid to try new things. They weren't afraid to try their way. And that's why just about every one of these gurus for their own style of thing. That's why like, I don't know, let's think, Luke Belmar for whatever he says, because he has his own approach to life. That's why Iman for a certain thing. That's why Tate for a certain thing. That's why I don't know, even Alex Becker or Alex Hormozy. Like, these people because they went out and they did their own thing. They didn't do everybody else's thing. They had their true voice. They had their authenticity. They had confidence to go and attack whatever vision they had in their mind. And guess what? It panned out for them. And I'm not saying every idea is going to pan out for you. I'm sure those people went through numerous failures before they had some success. Most people do. So go out. Don't be afraid to fail, because that shit is going to happen, right? It's very possible that I might even fail with CBD. I mean, I don't think so, because I'm not going to let it happen, but it's possible that it might be harder than I thought it would be. And it has been. We didn't get the cap increase when we thought we would. So now we're just like trying to figure a bunch of other shit out in order to make it work. But bottom line is, we're confident in the fact that we're going to be able to make it work. Everybody you look up to is confident in the fact that their idea is good. Everybody you look up to, every business that is out there, every successful business is out there, started from an idea somebody had, and it took a confident business owner, CEO, whatever you want to call the person, to make that idea and bring it into the real world, bring it to fruition, right? So confidence is key. Even for me, like, I'm putting out this video, just kind of like, this is like literally like, imagine I were writing this down, I'm just talking it instead. But I don't care like if it does well, if it doesn't do well. I just like care about putting it out there, and that's how it's been since the beginning. And now we're almost at 700 subscribers, which has been amazing in just around a month. Our goal for the end of January was 700. We're at 674 right now. Maybe we'll even pass that. And it's just because I'm not afraid to like try whatever I think might be cool. So don't be afraid to try what you might think would be cool. But yeah, boys. So that's the talk of the day. So outside from that, I don't have too much going on today. It's about 5:30 now. And I'm just going to chill. Maybe I'll go for a run with the dog again. Maybe I'll go to the gym and do some lifting or something, but I just have to get everything in order throughout the week, or for this next week coming up. We have a potential new MID approval, which would be amazing, leading up to February 16th, which is when we get our merchant account increase. But boys, we made massive decisions to get here, none of which I regret. And I promise you that you're seeing it firsthand. Like, I'm documenting everything for you guys right now. The confidence that we have in our decisions is ultimately what's going to make us successful over 99% of these big companies. There are plenty of companies out there that have, this is another thing, right? Okay, boom, we're talking, right? So another thing is when people have big, massive, super big companies with like hundreds of employees, hundreds of people on staff, well, guess what? that guy's idea might have to go through 100 different people who don't think it's a good idea, and then it never gets tested. So that's why it's important to operate lean with a good co-founder, even by yourself, with people who aren't going to second guess your decisions, who aren't afraid to take risks. So you have to find a good business partner as well, or just be by yourself. But that's another reason, another advantage that Hunter and I have over our competitors is the fact that, dude, we're risk takers, we're young. I'm 21, he's 22. Like, we're just taking the world by storm, basically. So over these next several months, like especially with these new approvals coming through, bro, it's gonna be wild, the results we're gonna have. We're gonna do millions, baby. And I'm gonna document it all. I also have some ideas for YouTube coming up pretty soon here too, which are brand new. Nobody's done that before. They're not all, perfect ideas, but I'm excited for them. And I think that they're gonna make waves on YouTube. So I'm pumped. And it all comes from me not questioning my decisions, me not questioning, is this content good enough? Or is CBD even a viable business? It doesn't come from that. It comes from being confident in the fact that we'll figure it out no matter what. So, all right, boys, I'm gonna go hit a workout, and so that's today's episode, actually. But let me just refresh the rev. 1.6K in rev, 1.4 in profit, throw it right there. Confidence is key. Make good decisions, because that's why so many people fail, is they're afraid to make good decisions. Happens every time. All right, thanks for watching. Leave a comment if you have any questions, and talk to you guys tomorrow.